After fighting with each other and losing 75 million lives, countries from all around the world came together to set up an international organization with an aim to maintain global peace and developing a harmonious relationship among all countries. And that's how the United Nations was formed. During its establishment, 6 principal organs of the UN were formed, with each having its own responsibilities. Among these 6 organs, the United Nations Security Council has the most important responsibility of ensuring international peace and security. With a total of 15 members, the UNSC has 5 permanent members, which are USA, France, UK, Russia and China, and 10 non-permanent members who are elected for a term of 2 years. But since its formation, there has been no reform in the permanent membership of the Security Council. So a change has been proposed to the UN for increasing the number of permanent seats in the UNSC, mentioning the G4 nations, which are Brazil, Germany, India and Japan, as a considerable nominee for the permanent seat. So in this video, we will be talking particularly about India's permanent membership and also answering some major questions like why India could be a permanent member, what benefits will India have on becoming a permanent member, and is it even possible for India to have a permanent seat in the UNSC. India has been a very active member of the United Nations since its foundation. It was one of the founding members of the UN, joining in October 1945, and has been elected 8 times to the United Nations Security Council as a non-permanent member, with the most recent one being the 2021-22 term. India has contributed 180,000 troops to the United Nations Peacekeeping Force, which is the largest from any country. It is also one of the leading suppliers of vaccines to the low and middle income countries. From being one of the founding members of the UN, India's status as a founding member of the Non-Aligned Movement and the Group 77 has made it a leader of developing nations. It's the world's largest democracy, has the world's 2nd largest population, 6th largest economy and 3rd largest in terms of purchasing power. Also, it's the only country among the G4 nations that has nuclear weapons. Now, after considering all the mentioned contributions of India to the world and its global image, if India gets a permanent seat in the Security Council, then the country can have huge benefits from it. India will emerge as a global superpower and a global rule maker. Its Kashmir issue with Pakistan could be resolved very quickly. Also, a global pressure can be put on Pakistan regarding growing terrorism and border conflicts. China's superiority and dominance in Southern Asia will be equalized by India's membership. Also, there will be a huge downfall in conflicts with China, which often makes irrelevant territory claims. Sanctions could be put on China-Pakistan economic corridor, which is currently another issue for India. Apart from resolving its territorial issues, India will gain the veto power, which is the most important power of any permanent member. Using the power to veto, India could forbid any substantive resolution which is against its own national interest as well as the interest of its allies. Because of veto, relations of India with its allies will also strengthen, as their interests and concerns could be represented on a global level. India's dependency on Russia will also reduce, which used to have its back in the Security Council. So coming to the question that is it even possible for India to become a permanent member of the UNSC? Well, the answer to this question is very complicated. This is because if a country wants to become a permanent member, then amendments have to be made in the UN Charter, which requires 2/3 votes of the members of the General Assembly, that is 129 votes out of 193, including the votes of all the permanent members. And if any one of the permanent member uses its veto, then that resolution cannot be passed. Although USA, UK, France and Russia support India's bid for the permanent seat, but China is the country that blocks India's path to the Security Council, because it could never see India holding a permanent seat, as it will be an equalizer to its dominance in South Asia and also a threat to its territorial expansions. Also, Pakistan, which is currently an ally of China, would fear losing POK and CPEC. So to counterattack, China always emphasizes that India has not signed the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty and the Non-Proliferation Treaty, according to which India gets prohibited to test its nukes and also has to disarm all its nuclear weapons. And China knows this very well, that a country like India, which is surrounded by enemies, will never sign these treaties, thus forbidding its demand for the permanent seat. India has also shown poor performance in many socio-economic indicators like the Human Development Index, and its contribution to the UN's budget is about 1%, which is very less as compared to other top 10 countries. So by considering all these factors, there is a very strong chance that China will use its veto power when India's seat for a permanent member will be discussed in the UN. Just like India is opposed by China, similarly other members of the G4 are opposed by other permanent members, like Brazil is opposed by the USA, Germany by Russia, and Japan by both China and Russia. So now you might think, will we ever see a permanent member in the United Nations? Well, under the given charter and the working of the UN, there is a very little hope that reforms will ever happen, until and unless the United Nations become unstable to function. Tell us in the comments what you think about India's permanent membership. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and if you are new here, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Also follow us on Instagram and Facebook.